Today's High Performance Podcast is brought to you by Josh Phegan Digital. It's the only place that you'll find our expansive resource library. Every form, checklist, visual and dialogue that you'll ever need to systemize your business. Available to edit in PDF to rapidly take your business to the next level.
Welcome to High Performance, the podcast featuring Alexander Phillips and Josh Phegan. Alex, today's a really important thing, and, Gilbert Anaka talks a lot about it inside of his whole book about the All Blacks, about this structure and discipline piece. And I was thinking about, there are some real estate agents right now that are going to go and do maybe a sale a month. There are some real estate agents that are going to go and do a sale a week. And there are other people that have built a team that are going to be doing literally a sale a day. Can you talk to us a little bit about the difference in the structure, but also to the discipline that you would have had year one compared to the structure and the discipline that you have today, sitting inside of your business and the volume of transactions that you do?
It's interesting, even a couple of books that I read while I was away, like Bill Belichick and a book called Unstoppable Hospitality.
Yes.
This is based on 11 Madison Park, a restaurant. Like even, restaurateurs in there, front of house, back of house, have extreme, discipline and structures before, they interface with the client, or the way they cook the food, or the way that football team, goes out each day, whatever it is. I think it's sort of like everything that you've got that, and you do it day in, day out, but you do it the right way. Like, you actually know what you're doing and the reason why you're doing it and what benefits you get out of it. Then, everything will flow on well from that.
You've got a massive love for sport, and I've seen you at some of those sporting things, from, tennis to basketball, and watching some of the greats. Does that, make you want to perform at a higher level when you see other people performing at a higher level, and, even the basics of what they do and how they place their water and how they go out onto the court and how they go to hit the ball and how they reset after a point? And you start to think about that, well, how does Alexander Phillips do that in his world, that if he loses a listing, or he, doesn't get an appraisal, or something doesn't go right with the buyer, how does he reset to go and play the next point and to then actually win the game and ultimately win the set and ultimately win the match?
Definitely. And now I'm in my 40s. I look at, sports people that are still playing at high performance in the 40s and what they do well, and basically what they're doing better now is smarter training and cutting out a lot of crap that they don't need to do.
Yes.
That keeps them at, a high level for longer, and that sort of, as you start to progress through your career, you've got to work out what keeps your energy levels at a peak for the longest, and for longevity, that keeps you there to make sure that you're still doing how many episodes you want to do a year.
Would you say that the first half of the day, particularly the morning, if you get that right, the afternoon just flows super easy?
Most of my work's done in the first 2 hours of the day, and then it's even if you've got 8 appraisals that day, which on Friday I had 7, but it was so well planned out that even though you went from one to the other to the other to the other, it was easy, because everything was pre-planned. All the information was ready to go. I pre-planned the day before. I thought about each property before getting there, thought about, okay, who are we competing against, what do I need to say, how do I get the listing, are they ready to sign up on the spot? All those sort of things definitely, made sure that I was, at a peak and had the discipline.
And, the interesting thing is that now you're teaching that to team members, and it's really important to say, hey, edit, this is just no longer in my world, and Prue does that, or this is no longer in my world. I want that to be a fully fledged salesperson inside of my team who can prospect, list and sell and give vendor feedback and do all of those things. Because the more that you inadvertently protect people from the experiences, you actually also prevent them from growing. So how important is it as an agent to say, hey, there's a reason that you've put that salesperson on. You actually want them to be able to do more transactions inside of your team without you having to be involved in every step of the process. And hopefully they're generating the leads from the neighbour they meet, the buyer work they do around every single one of those listings that you've got in market today.
Yeah.
And if you think about that now, that the structure that you have a look at when someone joins your team, you've got very minimum standards. How long, for example, do you book in a buyer appointment in the calendar?
15 minutes.
Okay, yeah. How long for a market appraisal?
45.
And a good listing presentation?
45.
Okay, and do you put a buffer either the start of an appointment to get in and out?
15
minutes either side?
Yep.
And ideally, do you try to do one appointment to the next, you're not always coming back to the office?
Yep.
And so then that way, you think about that, and you've got a hard start time and a hard finish time each day inside of the business.
Yeah.
Hard start time for you, first time that the phone's got to be, making its first call every day?
7 o'clock or even earlier. Yeah.
And hard finish time, I just really don't want to be doing anything beyond that.
Appointments 5:30.
Okay, and then literally, ideally, car in the driveway at home. What
6.
time circa? At 6 o'clock.
Yep.
And so then after 6 o'clock, just switch off and switch out.
Correct.
And that structure and discipline is the thing that allows you to get to a high level of success.